Recent research has shown that up to 94% of climbing injuries are overuse in their nature. So just let that sink in. We could avoid up to 94% of all the injuries that happen in climbing. If it was that easy, I'd be out of a job. And there's some very common pitfalls and patterns that I see with the patients that present to me on a daily basis. So let's have a look at the top 5 things that I commonly see. The first one is one that we all know, but it really bears saying again. It's doing too much too soon without allowing enough recovery. When that happens, people then obviously just stop until it stops hurting and then repeat the same pattern again. Gains come slowly, you can't rush them, not even if it's only 2 weeks until your trip and you're really going to try and go for it. That's the worst thing you can do. We need minimum effective dose. You need to be at a level that is consistent for weeks and months and years. If you undertrain by 10%, people feel disappointed in that, but it means you're ready to go for your next session. If you overtrain by 1%, you're going to have to bin that next session, or it won't be a quality one either, and your injury risk goes through the roof. The second thing I see most commonly is when somebody has been following a plan, appearing to do everything correctly, but then they've still ended up getting injured. Often the cause of this are some outside influences. This could be work stress, life stress, poor sleep, poor diet because you've been travelling, such like, all that kind of thing. Things that interfere with our routine and our ability to recover. Part of the human condition seems to be that when you are experiencing stresses in your life outside of climbing, we almost seem to want to double down to make sure we definitely succeed in our climbing goals. If you're in a period where something has changed, stress-wise, life-wise, you need to reconsider. And I ask all the athletes I work with to just check in with yourself every week. Is that niggle that was still there last week still there? Does that mean it's now becoming an injury? How are your overall energy levels? Are you feeling like you want to train this week? And just really start to learn to listen to yourself. Sometimes these things are out of our control and you just have to roll with it and realise that this is not a period for training super hard. You need to maintain what you can and do the best to get through it. The third most common reason I see for people overdoing it and ending up with an overuse injury is when they are not paying attention to how they're feeling and they don't have a fallback plan. So often people will have their plan, they go to train or to climb, they're not feeling it and they push because they have the plan. If you have a plan B that you can fall back to that's still going to be working towards your goals but is maybe less intense or a shorter session even, then that really helps you to avoid the overtraining. But it's actually having a plan B is the key thing. If you don't, again, part of the human condition, we have a plan and we want to stick to it, and we feel if we don't, then that's a failure. Having the plan B means that you can drop down, do something sensible that'll keep you consistent, but you still feel that you're working towards your goal. The fourth most common is around trips. People need to start training for trips months, weeks, months prior to a trip. Not go mad at it 4 weeks before the trip. A huge increase in load, the body's not ready for it, tissues can't adapt in time for that. You need 6 weeks for muscles to start adapting, you need 12 weeks for tendons and ligaments to start adapting. So if you've got a trip planned, it needs to be planned a long time in advance. If you're jumping on a short notice trip, that's absolutely fine. Be realistic. Arrive on that trip in the best shape that you can. If you gun for it and go crazy, you will arrive tired, burnt out, and potentially at risk of injury if you don't get injured during the training before it. The days leading up to the trip, you need to taper, make sure you're fully rested. Getting up at 4 AM to travel to the airport, the stress of travelling, that does not count as a rest day. So make sure that you backtrack that and arrive fully rested. And the fifth one is around transitions. There are definite seasons that I see certain injuries spiking at different times through the year. The most common times that I see people getting injured are the transitions from either being predominantly indoors to getting outdoors, or from having been indoors over winter to getting outdoors, say in the spring. And people start taking extra days without accounting for them, so there'll be a good weather window and everybody gets excited and goes out, and then carries on with their winter training plan without realising that extra day was a performance day. It's a high load day, and you need to accept that, put that into your training, and maybe drop a training day or adjust a training day. Don't just carry on as if nothing has happened. Same the other way, that when it's been nice weather and we're coming into, say, autumn, and you're forced indoors, you suddenly do 40 boulder problems in a session or 12 to 15 routes in a session, a huge increase in volume compared to what we normally do outside. It's like a different sport, so treat it like that. Acknowledge that these things are different and need treating differently. Thanks very much for watching. I really hope you found it useful. We're hoping to do these regularly, about once a month or so. Really keen on hearing what you would like me to talk to you about. I aim to keep them short, snappy, really practical and helpful for people on the coaching side and the physio side, and just let me know.